Got it. Right, just bear with me. So I want everyone to click the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. I just want you to let me know that you hear me. All right. Give me a second. I'm waiting for my partner to get on right now. Okay, I got a thumbs up. I can hear you. Okay, so you guys are probably trying to figure it out. And yes, I am doing the Zoom training. I am doing this class off of my cell phone for two reasons. One, because I'm in the Dominican Republic and my MacBook, for some reason, is not holding a charge. So I have no other choice but to do it on my cell phone, right? If you're just getting on, can you please put your phone on mute, just so I don't distract or anything? Guys, put your phones on mute. Put your phones on mute. Put your phones on. Turn your audio off. That means you, Deshaun. Second. All right. Sorry about that, guys. So yes, I'm doing this training off my cell phone because number one, my laptop just stopped working. And let me just lift this up a little bit. And I feel like a lot of you make excuses for why you're not able to get things done in your credit repair journey. And I want to show you guys that credit repair is so simple that 99.9% of the steps can be followed on your cell phone, right? So I'm definitely going to take questions from you guys. Some of you are clients. Some of you are thinking about becoming a client. But my main goal, outside of making money, outside of getting more clients, my main goal is to help you guys understand credit and help you guys improve your credit. Now, if that involves you hiring my company, if that involves you, paying me for it, that's one thing. But I'll always try to make sure you guys are educated on everything. So first things first, let's talk about what credit repair is and what credit repair is not. Credit repair is the removal of negative, unfair, sorry about that. I need to close that window. It's like chicken outside. So this is that you guys know, I'm reporting to you guys live from the Dominican Republic. So if the Wi-Fi gets a little spotty, or you guys hear some weird animals, it just means I'm on an island, right? Now, I'm going to break down what credit repair is and what credit repair is not. So let's talk about what credit repair is. Credit repair is the removal of negative items on your credit report, right? Those negative items can be there by error. Those negative items can be there because of something you did. There could be it could be identity theft. It could be a lot of reasons why you have that negative item on your credit report. I don't want you guys to think that credit repair is just this, oh, I just paid this company and get all the debt removed. I just want to just cancel out that belief right now. If you think that you could just pay a company, if you think you could just pay a company and they can remove all your bad debt, all the bad things you ever did, you are living in a metaverse. You are living in a false world. Listen, guys, let me explain this to you. If no one paid their bills on time, right? Let me turn my fan on. I'm burning up. Sorry about that. So if no one paid their bills on time, right? Then the fan wants to be super loud. I'm sorry, guys. When I tell you everything to distract me is going on right now, my laptop is not working. The AC is not working down here. And as I'm talking to you, I'm like sweating bullets. And now the fan is super loud. Can you guys still hear me good, even with this fan on? Put your phones on mute. Put your phones on. All right. So even with this fan on, can you guys still hear me good? All right, great, perfect. So to go back to what I was saying, right? So credit repair is not this, oh, I pay this company and they'll remove all the negative items that I have. Because if that was the case, I would never pay my bills on time. No one would pay their bills on time. Think about it, right? If you know you can go months or years without paying your bills, or being late or getting charge-offs, and you can go to a company, pay them $500, and they can remove all these negative items off your credit. Why would anyone pay their bills? So I just want you guys to understand that if you believe that credit repair is supposed to be this, you just push a delete button and the items get deleted, that's not what it is. Now, scammers, fraudsters, people on the internet who want your money will tell you what you want to hear. Of course. Listen, a lot of y'all make it easy to scam you because you literally reach out to people who don't know what you're talking about. You say, hey, I need all these negative items off. They say they can do it. You just automatically believe them. And then you turn around and be like, oh, I paid this guy $1,000 and items didn't come off. Why is that? Because let me just put this out there. The only way you can guarantee a deletion off of a credit report is if you say it's fraud. You want to know how can I guarantee it, Aaron? I want guarantee. Okay, well, let's file a police report and let's say that everything on your credit report is identity theft. If we do that, then we can get all the things removed. Here's the problem with that. A lot of you still want to maintain relationships with these companies you owe money to. Some of you don't want to risk your freedom or risk paying fines for filing fraud affidavit disputes. And also too, right, even with reporting everything as fraud, that still doesn't guarantee everything will come off. See, by law, it says that when you report something as fraud, it has to be removed. That doesn't mean it always happens. So I just want you guys to understand that nothing in credit repair is guaranteed. So then you're probably trying to figure out, I gotta keep people on mute. So, and that's another thing. I'm gonna figure out the Zoom thing because I know there's some way to keep people from coming on here and having their volume on loud. I'm gonna figure that out. Just bear with me, guys. My main goal right now is to be consistent. I want to do these financial Fridays every Friday because I don't want clients or people who want to become clients confused about the credit repair process. So, anywho, yes, the only way to get things automatically deleted is by saying it's fraud, and just know that it requires getting the police report, filing paperwork with the FCC. Do I recommend it? Yes, if it's necessary. If you lost your wallet or someone is using your name for something, or even if you go on your credit report and you really do not know what an item is or remember what it is, then you can challenge it as fraud. It's just like if something was on, all right, I'll give you a good example. It's the best way I can explain credit repair. If you pay for something on your credit card, right? Let's say you go to, Amazon, or Amazon.com and you order something, right? And let's say you get that item, but maybe you're not happy with it, boom, 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 boom. You may or may not get a refund because it's based on what the company's policies are, etc. Now, If you go buy that same item off of Amazon and you use your credit card, but then you call your credit card company and said, oh, I never authorized that transaction. That transaction was fraud. You will automatically get that money back. So you see how it's kind of the same? See, in credit repair, if you say, oh, that's not mine, that's fraud, whatever, it gets automatically deleted. Just like with your credit card. I never authorized that charge. I never heard that company. They're going to automatically refund your money back. The problem is, if you get caught doing that or you do that too much, you run the risk of going to jail or getting sued in court. So that's the only reason I wouldn't tell someone to make a habit of that. But some of you already do that. Some of you buy stuff online and then call your bank and lie and say you never got it. Sometimes you guys forget to cancel stuff and then call your bank and say you never signed up for it. That is the exact way on how people guarantee deletions in credit repair. Instead of them trying to go through the refund policy and the refund clause, they just dispute everything and say everything is not yours. So my company doesn't do that, but if you do have a situation where you do not recognize an item on your credit report, you don't know what it is, you don't know how it got there, we have a legal service that can legally get that stuff removed for you. Legally. Anytime you're dealing with the FCC or fraud affidavits or stuff like that, you definitely want to use a legal service, right? Which I'll get to in a minute. The next thing, right? Paying your bills on time. There are 3 dates you need to have in your phone for all your bills that are credit related. So when it comes to credit repair, right? If you guys can, please keep your phones on mute. Please keep your phones on mute. Now, here's what you guys have to understand, right? Any bill that's not a credit card, a bank product is like a line of credit, a loan, a credit card, auto loan, mortgage. If it's not any of those things, it will not go on your credit report if you're late. I'll give you some examples. Rent does not go on your credit report if you're late. Cell phone bill does not go on your credit report if you're late. Car insurance, water bill, utilities, all these items will not go on your credit report if you're late. However, anything that's bank related that is late, and late is anything more than 29 days past due. And if you can, write that down. I am late on my credit card. I am late on my car note. I am late on my mortgage once I go past 29 days. Now, late fees and a late payment on your credit report are 2 different things. You can get a late fee just from being a few days behind, being 3-4 days behind. But you won't actually get that late mark on your credit report until the 29th day. So what does that mean? That means that, okay, let's say, for example, your car note is coming up. It's due on the 1st, but you might not have the money to the 15th. That's when you want to start looking at your bills like, okay, what has the most? So this is how you want to structure your bills. What gets reported on my credit report? Who charges the most late fees? Who charges the quickest late fees? And who does not report at all? And who does not report that also charges a late fee? For example, your cell phone. Your cell phone might not report if you're late, but they might charge you a $10 late fee plus a $35 reconnection charge. Versus your car note might only charge you a $25 late fee. So that's how you can kind of like figure out what bills to pay in what order. If this is late, does it go on my credit report? Does it charge a late fee? And if it charges a late fee, how much? And how soon does it take for the late fee to kick in? Now, here's how you get out of paying these late fees. Just calling the company and saying that you're going through hard times. A lot of these companies, if you call them and say that the pandemic affected your job, they're willing to give you longer grace periods and stuff like that. See, a lot of you end up paying extra fees just for not making a phone call. One phone call can save you $100 a month in fees just by letting them know, especially cell phone companies. Hey, I'm going to be late, boom, 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 boom. You can avoid paying extra fees just for being a few days late. So now that gives you more room to maneuver to pay your bills on time. The next date I want you guys to focus on is the billing close date. Now, the billing close date, this is only for credit cards. The billing close date is the date where they report your balance. They don't report your balance on the due date. They report your balance on the billing close date. So here's a quick hack. Make sure your bill is paid by the bill closing date, and you can max out your credit card as much as you want. Because the only thing that gets reported is on the bill closing date. So that means if you make sure your balance is always paid off on or before the billing close date, and then whatever you use after the billing close date will never hit your credit report. That's how I'm able to use most of my credit limits, because I make sure the balance is always paid off by the billing close date. And then the due date. The reason why the due date I put last, because the due date just gives you how can I put this? The due date just gives you the milestone on when your late payment starts. So your late payment starts the 29th day after the due date. So you want to know your due date. You want to know that billing close date, right? Then, let me make sure I got this right. Billing close date. And you want to know your late fee date. You want to know your late fee date. You want to find out what date all your accounts charge you late fees. You want to find out when the billing close date is for all those accounts. And then you want to find out what your due date is for all those accounts. Then you just go right on your iPhone, download the app for reminders. You set a reminder for those dates and it'll keep you on track. Yes, it can seem like a lot of work. But guess what? If you want a lot of credit, if you want a lot of money, if you want a lot of peace and prosperity, you gotta do a lot. I hate people, oh man, I gotta do all this to get my credit together. Well, listen, it's called financial literacy. I'm sorry, but this is something you should have learned when you were younger. So the fact that you haven't learned it when you were younger is going to feel like it's harder to learn now. It's the same thing with learning a different language. I'm trying to learn Spanish now as a 29-year-old man. Imagine if I was learning Spanish when I was 14, when I was 4, when I was 5. It would be a lot easier. So just understand, guys, this is just financial literacy you were not taught at the right ages, right? So don't get frustrated about it. So really quick, right, I'm going to post some trade lines that I recommend you guys get. I'm gonna post the link right here. I'm not gonna be too long with this, and everything will be recorded so you guys can watch it again. I'm gonna do this every Friday, so don't panic. All right, so let's see. I'm gonna put this in the chat. All right, I just pinged this link in the chat. So if you guys hit the bottom right-hand corner of the screen where it says more and you go to chat, you'll see the link. And real quick, I'm going to share my screen. All right. You guys let me know in the chat if you guys can see my screen. One second. Give me one moment, guys. This is my first time doing this, so I just want to make sure you guys can see my screen and everything. I can't hop back and forth to see your responses as I'm doing this. So give me 1 second. Bear with me, guys. Hey, Dave, can you see my screen? I need you. Can you see my screen? Yeah, I need you like ASAP. I'm like live in action right now. That's why I needed you. Give me a second, guys. Hold on. I see it. All right, give me 1 second, guys.
Recording in progress.
Thanks.
Hey, Aaron, I can't see your screen.
All right, give me 1 moment. Give me one. I just was waiting for you to come back. All right, Dave, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
All right, you can mute yourself now. This stay in the text message. So let me work. And Dave, please mute yourself. Guys, please mute yourself. Please. So, all right, guys. So this link is what I just posted in the chat. So if you click this link, you guys can follow along, or you guys can go back when we're done. So first thing I'm gonna show you guys is how to check your credit score. So you're gonna hit this first link right here where it says check credit score. And I do not know why that's not working. Huh. That's weird. All right, give me 1 second. Open this other window. So it's actually called creditmechanicscore.com. It's my affiliated site with Smart Credit. Do not go to smartcredit.com. I have my own partnership with them. So do not go to smartcredit.com, because if you go to smartcredit.com, their code won't be able to integrate with my system. So yeah, I just warned you. And I'm going to fix the link. I'm going to fix the first link on the other link. Is Credit Mechanics Score. That's what it's called. So this is used to not only check all 3 of your credit scores, it literally walks you step by step on what's wrong with your credit. It has a score builder that gives you a 120-day game plan. A 120-day game plan. Give me 1 second. Hold on. I'm gonna tell Dave to post this link in there. So the score builder will literally give you a 120-day game plan to boost your score, which will include what items to pay down, what items to dispute, how to dispute them. Now, understand that when you dispute through Smart Credit, the disputes are going to go straight to the creditor. See, with a credit repair company, or when you're usually doing your own disputes, you're usually sending disputes to the credit bureau. But Smart Credit has a backdoor access that allows the disputes to go straight to the creditor. And you can also dispute items that are directly on your credit card. You can integrate like your credit cards and your bank accounts, and you can dispute transactions on there. And then it also gives you $1 million in identity insurance. Now, pretty much what that means, a lot of people don't think they need that. Identity insurance is pretty much if someone steals your wallet, if someone hacks your account and steals all your money, anything that's regarded to identity theft, right? They come in and reimburse you when the bank don't. See, a lot of you think that, oh, someone hacks my account, then I'm going to automatically get my money back. It doesn't work that way. I had my account hacked before, and it took them months to get my money back. So when you have a service like this, they give you the money back that you lost if the bank don't. So remember, if you do not see the Philly Credit Mechanic logo right here, then that is not my site, and I do not recommend it. I set up things a little bit differently with my site than other sites that are on Smart Credit, so only use this one. And the link should be posted in the chat. I just had my assistant post it in there for me. So yes, this is what you use to check your credit. Once you actually log in, everything is self-explanatory. And the only tools I want you to focus on are Score Tracker, Score Builder, and Score Booster, right? You also have the Money Manager, so you can connect all your bills, all your accounts in one place. And we already went over the privacy and the fraud insurance. And you also get alerts. You get alerts immediately anytime something happens, so you can hop on that immediately. All right, so that's how to check the credit part. All right, so let's go to the next link on here, and that is Extra Card. So when you click this link, let's give it a moment. And you want to click this link right here. It's my little affiliate link. All these companies, I either know the owner or I know like the top VPs in them. So that's why I recommend certain ones, because I know that they work. I use them myself. And I know that most of these would approve you. So this is what I like about Extra Card, right? Extra Card allows you to build your credit the same way you spend your debit card. So take a debit card from, I don't know, Wells Fargo. Let's say you got a debit card from Wells Fargo. And let's say you spend $100 a week on your Wells Fargo debit card. What happens is you attach Extra Card to your debit card account, and instead of the $100 being spent from your Wells Fargo card, the $100 is going to come off as Extra Card. Then once the transaction is approved on the Extra Card, the next day it goes into your Wells Fargo account and take out that $100. So technically it's only loaning you the money for 24 hours. However, it's going to take all the money that you spent for that month and add it on your credit report as a trade line. Yes, it's going to add it on your credit report as a trade line. So let's say you're already spending $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 a month out of your checking account. You can spend that same exact money with Extra, and they're going to put that as a trade line on your credit. That's why I put this as number one on the list, that Extra Card. So sign up for it, and attach your checking account to it, and it will allow you to build your credit the same way you spend money on your debit card. You don't have to put down a deposit. You don't got to run your credit and pray you get approved. It's guaranteed approval, and your limit is set by how much money you spend. Now, let's go to self-lending. Boom. Now, what makes self-lender good is that it allows you to, guys, please mute your phones. Now, what self-lender allows you to do It allows you, guys, please mute your phones. Please mute your phones. I beg you. Phones, mute your phones. Mute your phone. Please mute your phone. Thank you. Yeah, guys, I swear, by the next Zoom, I'm gonna figure out how to make sure people are automatically muted. I'm still learning Zoom, so just bear with me. All right, let me go back to sharing this. All right, now back to self-lender. So with self-lender, it allows you to build your credit by saving your own money. So I'm gonna make this as simple as possible. They open up a savings account for you. They set up a plan for you to put anywhere from $25 all the way up to $200-$300 a month in this account. They're going to report to the credit bureaus, hey, Aaron has a loan that he's paying off, right? Because pretty much what they do is they fund a savings account that you cannot touch until you make all the monthly payments to cover the money that's in that account. Then once you cover all the money that's in that account, they then release it to you plus interest, right? However, let's say you get self-lender, you do it for 3 months and then you stop paying, right? Then they'll just refund you back the money you already paid and they'll close out your trade line. But you can start this up with $25 a month. But I just want you guys to understand that with Extra Card, so let me go back over here. With Extra Card and self-lender, it's literally not costing you any money. I mean, maybe like a percent or two. Can you guys please put your phones on mute? We're gonna open up for questions when I'm done. Please put your phones on mute. So with Extra Card and self-lender, it's literally not costing you any money to build your credit. Because self-lender, you're just putting $25 a month into a savings account that's your own money that you can cancel at any time and get your money back. Extra Card is just a card that attaches to your debit or checking account that as you spend money with the Extra Card is going to withdraw that money from your checking account within 24 hours, and then report to the credit bureaus as if it's a trade line. Now, I'm going to the third one, credit my rent. This is another good, these are 3 good hacks right here to get high limit trade lines on your credit report. So with credit my rent, this is what you can do. You pay to get started. You hit up a grandma, whatever, anyone who has a house. Hey, can you verify that I live there and that I paid $3,000 or $4,000 a month in rent? They don't ask for a copy of the lease, nothing. The most they might do is call the landlord that you gave them. There's no landlord license or nothing that they verify. The most I've seen them do, they literally just call the person, say, hey, does this person live here and pay this much in rent? Yes, cool, done. So once I received that, I'm like, I can do this for anybody. So this is how I got a high limit trade line on my credit report. I pretty much said that I was paying $5,000. No, I was paying $4,000 a month in rent. Somewhere believable. I think I was in King of Prussia or something like that. I basically put an expensive neighborhood, say, hey, this is where I live at. I'm paying $4,000 in rent. I gave them a friend of mine's information. Now, of course, I called my friend up front and said, hey, if someone calls you, say I'm paying $4,000 a month. It's no different than when a job is actually for references and they say, hey, write down 3 people. Then you call your friend up and say, yo, bro, they say I work here and I did a good job. It's the same thing. So pretty much you can say you're paying $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a month in rent. And they're going to report that as a trade line on your credit. And they're going to go off of whatever you tell them, but just make sure it's realistic. Just make sure it's realistic. I don't even pay rent, and I got one of these trade lines on my credit report. So just these three right here, extra card, self-lender, credit my rent, those are three trade lines that just those three alone should raise your credit score 50 to 100 points. If your score don't go up, that's because you didn't click on the link in the chat. You didn't click on these links. You didn't do what I said. If your score does not go up at least 50 points in the next 30 days, that means you did not do what I said. You go into that Zoom chat, you click the link, this window is going to pop up. You go through each one of these links and you sign up for each of them. I don't want you guys to go out and Googling or trying to sign up for these services on your own, because I don't want you to sign up for the wrong thing or you do something incorrectly, because when you do everything through me, if something goes wrong, I have direct contact with the company. I can look at my back office, see what happened. But this is probably the fastest way your score is going to jump up. Even if you have negative items on your credit, even if you have late payments, these trade lines right here with Extra Card, that hack, what you do is you put as much money as you can in your checking account and you find ways to spend it on your debit card, whether it's paying your rent, paying bills, sending off cash apps or PayPal invoices. That was one thing my friend did. My one friend, he PayPal'd himself a bunch of invoices. I think he did Cash App. So on Extra Card, it looked like he spent like $5,000. And guess what they did? They put a $5,000 credit card on his limit. $5,000 credit card limit they gave him. Then with self-lender, one of my clients has started off with like a $200 or $300 a month plan, right? Started off with a $200, $300 a month plan, got that big trade line to hit the credit, and then the client went back. I think it was a woman. Then she went back and said, "Oh no, the 200 is too much. Let me lower it to 50." But she waited to that higher trade line hit it first. So Extra Card, manufacturer spending, spending everything through the Extra Card, got a high trade line doing that. Self-lender, you start off with a high plan, then either the next month or the following month or whenever you're ready, you switch it to a lower plan, or you can cancel it and the trade line will still be there. But just remember, if you cancel it, you have to move fast for whatever you need to do with your credit, because your credit will take a hit. But the trade line will be there. And that's what it's about. It's about trade lines and having positive limits. Credit my rent. You can literally say your rent is however amount that you want to say it is, as long as it's realistic, and they're going to report that rent amount on your credit report, right? On your credit report. Now, I'm going to give you guys one more trade line. And then I'm going to save more training for the next class, because I don't want to overwhelm you guys. I want to make sure that you guys leave this Zoom and take actionable steps. I don't want to go through 10 things and you only remember 2 of them. I want to go through 3 or 4 things. You guys remember those 3 or 4 things, you take action on it, and then next week we move on to the next 3 or 4 things. Because the information I already gave you, that's already 50 to 100 points right there. So let's hit Credit Builder Card. Credit Builder Card. Wait for it to pop up. So you see my little logo up there too. So another thing I like about them is that even though it does require a $200 deposit to open up a card with them, I like that you can make one $400 deposit. You can make one $400. You can make one $400 deposit and get 2 secure cards. And they report 6 times a month. You can open up 2 cards at one time, and then guess what? You keep that card for a year, then eventually they refund your money back and they start raising your limit. The reason I like Credit Builder Card is because they don't care about how bad your credit is. As long as you don't owe them, they will approve you. See, you can apply for a secure credit card and still get denied. So that's why I stand with them. And I like the fact that you can make one payment. You can pay $400 and you can get 2 secure cards. 2 secure cards, that's 2 trade lines. And one thing I want you guys to understand, the more trade lines you have, the more on-time payments you will have. The more on-time payments you have, the higher your credit score, right? So just to recap, check your credit score. That's creditmechanicscore.com. I'm gonna fix that part of the link, but it should already be in the chat. We got Extra Card, we got Self Lender, we got Credit My Rent, and we got Credit Builder Card. Just knocking out these 4 trade lines will raise your score 50 to 100 points, even if you never get an item deleted, even if your usage don't go down. Just knocking those things out will add 50 to 100 points to your score. So if you're in the 400s, or you're in the 500s, or you're starting to creep up on the 6s, you're in the low 6s, you definitely need this. So without further ado, I'm gonna go to a little Q&A. I'm gonna do a little Q&A. So what I want you guys to do, if you want to talk, I want you to raise your hand. If you want to talk, I want you to raise your hand. Or if you don't want to talk, just hit the chat button and I'll answer your question in the chat. So I'm gonna read some of what you guys are saying. Mr. Aaron, this is some filthy info. Thank you. Look, I got a lot more where that came from. I think I love the Extra Card. Yes, I feel like that's probably the best trade line you can get, because you're literally not going into any debt. You're building credit off of what you want to use. All right, Dave, give me a second. All right, you can unmute yourself, Dave. Dave, can you unmute yourself? Come on, Dave, where you at? I think Dave having some technical difficulties right now. Can you speak about how a credit report should look? All right. So I got a question. Can you speak about how a credit report should look? So that's a good question. How a credit report should look. So if you want to maximize your credit, number one, your credit report should have no late payments. Hold on, is it? Please mute yourself, guys. I'll come back to you, Dave. Let me answer a mad question. So number one, your credit report should not have any late payments. How do you find late payments? When you log in and you look at your credit report, you look at your accounts. And when you look at your accounts, you're going to see the payment history on those accounts. If you see anything like a 30 or a 60 or a 90 day, and it's in red or something like that, that's not good. So you don't want to have any late payments. Also, your credit utilization. You want your overall credit utilization to be 30% or less. Same thing with each individual credit card. You want them to be 30% or less, because you can be at 30% overall usage on your credit report, but if you're at 90% usage on one credit card, it's going to tank your credit score. Inquiries. Having a lot of inquiries in a short amount of time is not good. But let's say you have 10 or 15, mute yourself, guys. Let's say you have 10 or 15 inquiries. right? Let's say you had 10, 15 inquiries, but 5 of those inquiries was from a year ago. Another 5 is from maybe 6 months ago. And then you got another few maybe this month. That's not too bad because after a year, your inquiries stop hurting your credit score. And after 2 years, they fall off without you paying anybody. So just understand that there's no way a perfect credit report should look, but I can tell you what's not supposed to be on there. I can tell you what's not supposed to be on there. So this a quick recap. To maximize your credit, you want to have at least 5 to 10 trade lines. The ones I gave you guys earlier, there was about 3 or 4 of them. You want to have at least 5 to 10 because do the math. If you have 10 accounts that you are on time with every month. On time doesn't mean you have a bill on it. On time just means that you don't have any late payments. It means even if you never use the card, that's what you guys have to understand. Even if you don't use a card, it's still an on-time payment if you don't have a bill. Any month that you go by where you're not missing a payment or anything like that, it gets marked as an on-time payment. So if we have 10 accounts reporting on time, that's what, 10 times what? 10 accounts times 10 months, that's 100 on-time payments in less than a year. So that's what? That's about 120 on-time payments for the year. Versus someone who has 1 or 2 credit cards. Someone who has 2 credit cards, they're only going to have 24 on-time payments for the year. So that just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. So definitely having 5 to 10 trade lines. Also having a lot of trade lines, it prevents you from prevents you from ruining your usage. Because sometimes you guys might be good with usage until you fall on hard times. And because you only have 2 credit cards, when you max out those 2 credit cards, it hurts you. Versus the person who had 10 credit cards and maxed out 4 of them, their credit score is going to be in a better shape. So also understand having a lot of trade lines is to give you balance for if you ever run into any emergencies. What else would I say about a credit report? You don't want your credit report to have a lot of addresses on there. So if you have a lot of addresses on there, you want to get them removed, especially the addresses that are attached to negative accounts. And this is easy as sending a letter, asking the credit repair company that you're using, or just calling in to get them addresses removed. You don't want to have a bunch of different names on your credit report. You don't want to have a bunch of different jobs on your credit report, because every time you file an application, you put your job information and all that stuff like that gets recorded. And you look more riskier to a bank when you have a lot of jobs, a lot of addresses, and a lot of names. So they don't like that either. So Ahmad, I hope that answers your question. On the next class, I'm gonna actually show my credit report along with others, so you can actually see live what a good credit report should look like. I'm just trying to keep these classes short and sweet, so you guys can actually remember and implement the information. So when I go in for 2-3 hours and stuff like this, you guys ain't gonna remember everything. You're gonna forget it. So just be patient. I got you on the next one. Let me see what else we got. Thank you for always dropping gems. No problem, no problem. Do you do that with all 3 credit bureaus? Remove the names, numbers, etc. from your account? Yes, I recommend it. You don't have to. Like, I fixed my credit without removing addresses and names. I just learned that everyone's credit report isn't the same, and one person's credit report might need more work than the other, and you never know which credit report will need more until you actually start disputing on it. So like I said, I've gotten hundreds, thousands of accounts deleted without removing the addresses and the names and stuff like that. I just noticed as I got deeper in the credit game, when I try to go for higher lines of credit and business credit and stuff like that. I noticed that having all those extra addresses and stuff like that, it was starting to become a hindrance. And then old collection companies and old debt collectors start finding me and stuff. So yeah, it's not mandatory to fix your credit, but it just helps. Do you have a apartment rental trade line that goes to Experian? I believe Credit My Rent does, but a lot of these companies only report to Equifax and TransUnion as far as the rent companies. Now, with that being said, that does not mean that it's the end all be all. Like, don't think when something doesn't get reported to Experian, then you're not going to get approved for anything. Because most credit bureaus, please mute your phones. Because most credit bureaus, they check Equifax and TransUnion anyway. The only credit bureau I know that only checks Experian is American Express. But everybody else, all the main banks, everybody you want to go to, they mainly check Equifax and Equifax and TransUnion. So don't trip too much if the rent company don't report to Experian, because most of the banks I'm gonna tell you to go to anyway, they don't even check it. My work, keep sending links as possible. The links are in the chat. All right, I think I got Jones. I want to ask a quick question. And this is going to be the last question.
All right, can you hear me?
No. Yes.
All right, I kind of have a few questions. One of them, how much is the credit reporting agency services?
The credit monitoring agency, you mean?
The one that you suggested that we use. Where we're going to get
credit score, the one I group. That one is $24.99.
Okay, $24.99 a month. Okay, another question. For the Credit My Rent, are they going to verify monthly or like a one-time verification?
Every time I've done it, and I did it with other clients, they only verify one time. Usually, they will only mark that you're late on your rent if the landlord, tells them that. But typically, they don't check every month. That's not what I heard, but things could change, so they might send a verification email or something like that to them. But so far, everybody just had to verify one time.
Okay. And then another question, is do you know of any companies like how My Jewelers Direct used to be? You know how you can get the trade line, but they don't do that anymore. Do you know of any that's still doing it?
All right, so here's the thing, right? I don't have any at this moment that's giving out the large trade lines like that. However, with that Credit My Rent hack and that extra card hack, you will be able to do almost the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So like with extra card, whatever trade line you want, you just have to make sure you spend that amount of money through the extra card that's connected to your checking account. They don't care how you spend it. That's why I say you might be able to just buy stuff off yourself through PayPal and Cash App.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, because now we're using our debit card and not getting no credit for it. So yeah, definitely.
And that's exactly what. So I kind of use extra card to replace that My Jewelers Club, and then it's something that you can actually like use and benefit from. See, with the My Jewelers Club, you had to buy bull crap jewelry. Like you had to spend like $100 on bull crap you didn't even want. So I actually like this better.
Right, but then it just sit there and give you like a $5,000 credit limit. So I mean, I could see it being useful when they was doing it. Okay.
It was useful, but again, that was only one trade line for 5,000, and one trade line is not going to make you rich fuck you get multiple ones like that? See, normally when you got a modulus, you still had to get like 2, 3 other high limit trade lines for it to really make a difference. So that's why I tell people with self-lender is a good hack to start off with a more expensive account, then cancel it, and then reinstate it with something that you can't afford. Because what's going to happen is the first account and the second account is going to hit. Because banks look at a few things when they want to approve you. They look at how many loans have you had that you paid off, how many on-time payments have you had, and how many accounts that you have. So having a lot of accounts that you are never late on, and then balancing that out, and I'm gonna get into that in another loan, in another class, when you get like older, more seasoned trade lines, that's pretty much the balance you want. You want the balance of having old credit and new credit with fairly decent high limits. So for example, if you got five accounts that was just like my Julius Club, and I just fixed your credit age might be less than 2 years. You're not going to get approved for anything good. But let's say you use a trade line provider, or you went through word of mouth and you got a trade line and you got that on your credit report on top of a My Julius. That's what helps you out. Now, the only thing with trade lines and why me myself don't sell them, because it's risk. It's risk with that, because it's risk that the trade line might not hit. It's a risk that the person that is in control of the trade line might use the limit up, stuff like that. So that's why I purposely always rather pointed people to the directions to get them or tell you how to do it than me sell them myself. But trade lines are definitely a good hack. It requires a little bit more finessing. Like with me, I used my grandmother. My grandmother, she gave me a trade line. Believe it or not, and you probably gonna laugh at me, every woman that I dated, we exchanged numbers. I met at the bar. That was the first thing I asked. Yeah, so how's your credit? The minute I heard, oh, my credit is pretty good or whatever, my whole intentions just changed. Don't you know how people put you in the friend zone? I'll put these women in the credit zone. So when I was out mixing and mingling and I met a woman, she had good credit, within a week, I was an authorized user on one of her credit cards, guaranteed.
Okay.
Because I talked women into think about it. I talk women into doing way more crazier things, like having my kids. So if I could talk women into having my kids, I could talk women into adding me as an authorized user on their account. So I did that. I used friends and family. I went into like different like Facebook groups and like different like communities, and I just networked with people. And then you got some trade line websites. The only reason I never like right off the rip recommend the trade line websites is because they're so expensive. I don't even buy off of them. Like the price that you'll pay for one trade line on some of these websites is probably the cost you pay in a year for credit.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep. And then though, can we use this? Oh, you say go to the chat, but are these links also in your bio?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I guess that's
Yep.
Thanks.
Yes, if you guys follow me on Instagram, which I'm pretty sure most of you guys do, if you hit the link in my bio, my link tree, you will also find those links there. And I'm actually going to shift it up to the top just to make it easier for you guys to find. But I'm also going to this Zoom has also been recorded, and I believe that it's also streaming on YouTube right now. So when we're done, I'm a blast out this I'm gonna blast up the YouTube link with the video along with the links you guys need to sign up. And I'm just gonna do one more thing. I want you guys to all text my number. If you haven't texted already, put it in the chat. Because that number is how you get the blast whenever I do Zooms and the recordings and all that. One minute. I was making sure everything's set up right in my bio. All right, so I'm gonna have it in a link in my bio. If you go to where it says, you click the link in my bio and you hit credit tools, you'll find a link to everything I went over just now. And then I'm gonna have it on the YouTube link as well. So, okay. So without further ado, this is my first Financial Friday class. We're gonna be doing this every Friday at 6 o'clock. So if I'm not able to answer your questions or get to you throughout the week, make sure you save it all for the day. And if I'm not able to help you, I have an amazing team. They'll be able to help you. So like I said, all those links will be in my bio on my Instagram page, or you can find them in the chat. And if you text that number, you will get a blast with the recording of this video along with the links. So thank you guys so much for joining me. Thank you guys so much for supporting me. And I hope you have an amazing weekend.